your goodness in me nourish my soul. All the more till your love overflows into my home. For I'm married in the fountain. Good day and welcome again to Marriage in the Fountain. And I'm sitting with Henry, and in this talk we're looking at studying my spouse. So easily we can get blasé with one another. It's like, of course I know Lizette. We've been married for 15 years. What do I not know? But that's not quite true, is it?
Not at all, not at all. The challenge we basically face with any new relationship is we're very curious about each other. We'll all remember when we first met our spouse. Oh my word, those were the lovely days. We finished each other's sentences. Can you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, and those that aren't too old sat on the phone till past midnight, and you said, you put down, no, you put down, no, you put down. Yeah, and you kind of just tried to stretch out every moment you had together.
Yeah.
It was really a push to just know more about this person.
Yeah.
At some point, though, in a lot of relationships, if not all, it comes to, okay, I know you. And we have that feeling. Sometimes we tell each other that. Say, no, I know what your answer is. Or I knew how you would react.
Yes.
Yeah, this isn't a surprise to me. So I know everything about you. So we get that mindset of, now I know you. So now because I know you, I let my guard down. So I stop focusing on you. I stop hanging on every word that you say. But now the challenge is, because I know you, what more am I going to talk to you about?
Yes.
I've heard that rugby story about when you scored the try for the first team. I've heard that so many times, and I've heard you tell so many people about it. I really don't want to ask you about rugby because I've heard it. And please, please, every time you talk about it, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go to the kitchen, or I'm going to go talk to my friends, or whatever the case is. So how do I get to know my spouse? That's where the challenge is. So we're just going to jump into it. We need to start being curious again.
Yeah.
So that story, those are normally a very good place to start, is that story, especially that story that gets told over and over. There's something in that story that's not being heard.
Okay.
All right. So I'm telling that story because it has a significant impact in my life. So my job, Lundy's job, for argument's sake, is when I'm telling that story, to pick up on something in that story and say, when you scored that try, I'm using a very hypothetical now. When you scored that try, how did that make you feel? I'm going to say, it made me feel very, very good. So then I'm going to say, well, where else did you feel that good? And I might say, oh, wow, yeah, when my father, when I was younger, and he picked me up onto his shoulders and he ran somewhere with me. And then it opens up a whole new story because now it's related to something because that story's deeper. Or it might go to the other side and say, well, I never actually accomplished anything. And that made a mark in my life. So when you didn't accomplish stuff, how did that make you feel? It made me feel left out. And when you felt left out, how did you react to those situations? Or tell me about other times you felt left out.
Yeah.
And that suddenly opens up a conversation of the heart.
It just sounds so easy.
It is.
Yeah.
But we are so quick to listen to answer.
Yeah.
I've got a better story, or I've got advice for you, or I've got something to add here.
Listen, I have to be blatantly honest. That's absolutely me. I have to watch myself. I'm always thinking about the next thing that I will say. It's very purposeful. Switch it off. Listen.
Switch it off.
Yeah.
Stop listening to respond. Listen to hear. And when the person's finished talking, think about what they said and ask them more questions about what they had to say. Those things that you didn't quite understand, or maybe something that caught your ear. Because every time in a story, you might hear something different when you are listening to the story.
Paying attention,
And I'm going to refer it to the Bible. That's the living word for a reason. You and I can read the same verse and read something totally different in it. And tomorrow I read it again and I read something brand new in it.
Yes.
It's living, and so's your spouse.
Yeah.
So's those stories. It's their memories. It's stuff that made them who they are. So discover it. Discover your spouse. And you can really talk about what's your favorite color for an entire evening.
Yeah.
Just by exploring it, looking where the links are and where the things match up.
Yeah. I'm just thinking as well in terms of the fountain on the table here. Isn't it so true about our relationship with God as well? So many years in a relationship with Him, it can become just dull. I know everything. I've been at every Bible study or whatever, however you want to look at it. And it's a real conscious effort to say, surely there's more to God than what I could ever know.
Yes.
And we've been made in His image. So there must be more to my spouse than what I know.
Absolutely. I'll tell you an interesting story. When I was in high school, beginning high school, I was in boarding school.
Yeah.
So twice a day in the morning and in the evening before bedtime, there was quiet time.
Yes.
Okay. And I wasn't moved by the Spirit, if you want to call it that, but we had to, because they come and check, we had to be reading the Bible. So I sat in front of this Bible, and if I didn't read, I fell asleep. And if you fell asleep, you were in a lot of trouble.
Okay.
So I ended up reading the Bible from front to back.
Yeah.
Not really understanding much, but I read the whole Bible. And a lot of my life I spent not reading more of the Bible because I've now read the Bible.
Yes.
It's a book
done.
I've read, and I had these concepts of what it is, and it was done. And it's only when I reopened this book, I call it this book.
Yeah.
I reopened it, and I started discovering all these new aspects. So I could have stayed with the old Bible, which I read, and that could have defined my life, and it was so limiting. Or I could have reopened it and just found a whole new God in it. Not that God changes, but just that
Get to
intimacy.
know Him. Yeah. So let's leave everybody then with this challenge, including you and me. Okay? The scripture says, be quick to listen, slow to speak. So let's practice that with one another. Purposefully listening to one another. Being quick to listen, quick to pick up on those treasures that we haven't picked up on before. Just like the picture that you've used, open up your wife again, open up your spouse again, and really, really look into the treasure that God entrusted to you.